Hey, this is Jay again with the second video from the Pixel Nest 2D Unity tutorial. This one is adding and displaying a background. Now, I've already gone ahead and grabbed all of the assets from the Pixel Nest website, and so I have them all in one location here. You can just grab them one at a time from the Pixel Nest tutorial if you like. But what we're going to do is we're going to take the background and we're going to drag it into the textures folder here inside of the project pane. That pulls it in here, and when we select it, you can see in the inspector over here, it says it is a sprite, which is good. Now, the first time I did this tutorial, it actually showed up as a texture. I do not know why it did that, but it did. So if that happens to you, just select texture, choose sprite, and you're good to go. I'm going to click apply here. And now we're going to add a sprite to our scene in the hierarchy pane. So I'm either going to choose from create here and go down to sprite, or I can do game object and then create other and sprite. Either way, it'll do the exact same thing. And I'm going to call this sprite background. And a sprite is just an object, an image object that we're going to be showing in the scene. It's called background, and we have a game object now, but it's not actually a sprite. You can see over here in the inspector, it says none for sprite. So I'm going to grab the background down here out of textures, drag it up in here, and you can see it kind of highlights there when it's ready to go. I'm going to drop it, and now we have a sprite that is the background. The other way to choose the sprite, you can see this little tiny circle over here. If you click that, the sprite inspector will show up. Could be seen, go over to assets, and then you've got the background, and you can choose the sprite from there. Here in the hierarchy, let's go ahead and organize things. I'm going to take the background and move it right down in here, so it is a child of this background level. I'm also going to make sure that the position is 0, 0, 0, which it is. That's good. And I'm going to duplicate this. A couple ways you can do it. On the Mac, you can do Command D, select it, and then do Command D, or Control D for Windows. Or you can right-click on the object in the hierarchy and choose Duplicate. And we get two of them here. And the second one, I'm going to position X equals 20. And you'll see now that it fits in right next to that one there. Let me zoom it up a little bit here. You can see that it makes a nice seamless background. And just so we can keep track of them, we're going to actually change this to background 1. And this one's going to be background 2. Let's go ahead and add some props or background elements. In the list of assets, there should be a file called platforms.ping. I'm going to go ahead and drag that into textures. Select that, and it's a sprite, and this time we want multiple because this picture actually has two different props in it, and we want to actually be able to use them separately. So once you choose multiple, this button sprite editor shows up, so I'm going to click that. And this shows up, and it gives us an easy way to pull these two different things out. I'm just going to use the mouse to select this one right here and get it exactly where I want it. And once the bounding box is where I want this, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and change the name of this to Platform 1, and then click Apply. And now I'm going to change this. I'm just going to drag the and apparently I screwed up and didn't get Platform 1 in there, so no big deal. I can just go back over to here, Sprite Editor, and get Platform 1. And now when I look underneath here, I have Platform 1 and Platform 2. Alright, so it took me 2 tries, but I got it. So let's go ahead and add those to the scene. I'm going to create a sprite. I'm going to call it Platform 1 because I'm creative that way. And I'm going to add Platform 1 as the sprite for that. And I'm going to go ahead and make a second one and call it Platform 2. And we'll use the Platform 2 sprite for that one. And both of these are going to go into the middle ground. And just like that, we have two objects, two elements, two props in our scene that easy. So now we have these two platform objects here, and we want to be able to use more of those. So I'm going to take this platform 1, drag it down, and drop it inside of this prefabs folder, and this will create a game object then that we can reuse over and over and over again. And I'm going to do the same with platform 2. And those prefabs are based exactly on the original game objects that we created there in the scene. So now if we wanted to add another prop to our scene, instead of creating a sprite and adding the image to the sprite, we can just take one of these prefabs and drag it in here, drop it, and we are good to go. Before we go any further, let's modify the background layers so that we can display things the way that we want. So here on the background, we're going to put the Z position to 10. And then middle ground, we're going to set that to 5. And the foreground, we're going to set that to 0, which it already is. And if you click the 2D button up here in the scene view, right above the scene view, you can actually see then that there actually are different Z values for that. But when you look at it this way, basically it's all flat, which is just the way we want it. All right, we've just seen how to create a static background and display it in the scene, and then we created some simple sprites from an image. In the next video, we're going to learn how to add a player and some enemies on the screen.